When I change, the world changes. So this morning, it's about changing thoughts, because everything we do starts with a seed. This is the seed in the garden. It has a lifespan, but we also are seeds, and our seeds, my seed is living, and so is your seed living, and it lives up here. It doesn't live in the ground. A normal seed lives in the ground, but I'm the living seed, and so are you, and it lives here. And the seed in the ground expresses itself through the fruit it bears, through flowers. And the way I express myself is through my thoughts, which can be loving thoughts, pure thoughts, powerful thoughts, or it can be angry thoughts. And so why does Daddy say changing thoughts? That's Daddy's topic today, changing thoughts. So Daddy lived a very long time. Daddy lived a very pure life, and Daddy had many challenges, health challenges. Daddy lived with 300 other souls in the organization. So, and Daddy was the head of the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University. So I think she has given proof of why it's important to change thoughts. Obviously, as we all know, the world is not a happy place at all. When I look at my cell phone, and you know that section after the WhatsApp, if you scroll, people give messages of hope, but there's very many people who give messages of confusion and why is life like this, and so on and so on. And we see on our streets daily that the world is not a happy place. And we see in the news the world is not a happy place. And we ourselves have thoughts about why is life like this? Why is that happening to my family? Why is that not happening? So changing thoughts can be for politicians, it can be for their own purposes. But when we change thoughts, we want to change thoughts so that we can, in ourselves, feel better about ourselves. And the fact that we do programs like this, and the fact that you listen to programs like this, is an indication that you are seeking more than what the world has offered you, or that the world is offering you, or that you are offering yourself. You obviously have and I obviously have a very deep-seated feeling or memory stirring up inside of us of the world was a better place once upon a time. It is, we have faith, we are so convinced that deep inside the recesses of our minds and our hearts, there was another way of living once upon a time. And it was a beautiful way of living. And before I read Daddy's passage, I would like to read you something from a book called The Story of Immortality. And I have to put my specs on for this. It is called The Golden Age. So when we change our thoughts for the better, then we are actually reconnecting with the beauty inside of us. We're trying to find paradise once again when the world was in a state of truth and harmony. Even if you look at nature, we are looking at the dying embers of nature. Now, nothing is perfect anymore, but once upon a time, but a very, very long time ago, everything was in a state of perfection because we were thinking perfectly. So nature is an outcome of how we think and feel. And nature today, if you look at it, it's as a result of us having spoiled the planet, actually. Not because, not sometimes purposefully, but most times because we needed to survive. The world's become very highly populated. We needed ground, we needed material, so we like exhausted the mines, we've exhausted the earth, so the earth is not fertile anymore because we need so much food. We can't keep up, actually. We can't keep up with producing enough food. We can't keep up with producing enough adequate living space for people. So let me read you something. Ooh, I'm watching the clock. It's called the Golden Age. Now, if you come from a Christian background, you will think of the Golden Age as paradise. If you come from a Muslim religion, you will think of the Garden of Allah. But all religions, remember, there was a time when life on earth was perfect. So the cycle of time begins with the Golden Age. The Golden Age is called Satyug. Satyug means the age of truth. It is also called the land of happiness, heaven, paradise, and the garden of Allah. As well as happiness, there are also purity and peace there. This is why a lion and lamb have been shown drinking water from the same pool. At the same time, at that time, the world is Sato Pradhan. Sato Pradhan means in its highest state of truth and purity. The 5 elements of matter are the instruments of happiness. Matter is in a state of complete purity with the highest degree of order, and only truth prevails. Souls arrive onto the world stage, that is the planet Earth, in the Golden Age with their awakened fortune. Souls come from the home, which is where God resides, with a lot of spiritual power. This power is as a result of their remembrance of God at this age, which is now, which gradually formed them to capacity and made them soul conscious. This accumulation of power from God brought them back to their original power of complete soul consciousness. Their intrinsic, elevated imprints, or we call sanskars, are the rewards of the study of knowledge, which is now, and the inculcation of divine virtues and spiritual powers. These treasures are innate in the souls as their godly inheritance. They enter this world in their highest living form. Isn't that beautiful? So once upon a time, we were perfect beings, and we were godlike beings called deities. We were perfect. We spoke softly, we spoke kindly. Our actions were non-violent. Even our way of walking, our postures, our way of walking, our way of eating were completely, it was gentle and non-threatening. Our way of looking at each other was respectful and loving. And everybody at that time who came onto the planet was like that. And we were full, and we loved, but we loved everybody the same. There was no preference. There was no ego. There was no sense of this is mine. We all shared the planet. We all had respect for each other. We knew that we were inner beings of light. We knew that these bodies are just costumes. It was just like a spacesuit for being able to live on the earth. And this body is an interface between the living seed in here and the earth and other bodies. When we don't have bodies, we cannot communicate with each other. We cannot form relationships like family or friends without bodies. But we forgot because the longer we lived on the planet, the more bodies we took. We ran out of power. This living seed is living so long away from God. We forgot about God, and we lost power and power and power. And very soon we became convinced that we are bodies and not souls. And so our way of thinking started changing. Well, if we are bodies, then I see that body is nicer than mine. I want that body. So we started envy, and because we changed our way of thinking, because we lost power, we couldn't control this anymore. We started stealing because we wanted stuff, because we wanted to preserve the life of this body, because we started fearing loss of this body, because this body is what we thought is all that I have. I forgot that I'm the living seed here. And so I started wanting to preserve the life of this body, and I can only preserve it if everything is mine, all this food is mine, all these people, everything belongs to me. And if you get near me, I'm going to do something horrible to you. I became violent because I lost my sense of identity. But now that you're learning at the Brahma Kumaris that the real identity of the human being is that of soul, and that we are eternal, and that we are actually beautiful beings of love. Actually, we've just kind of like shifted away from our real self because we forgot. We have like amnesia, and so because we have amnesia, our way of thinking has changed. So I'm going to read Daddy's book, and so in order for me to get back to my Sata Pradhan stage, or the stage I had when I was living in the Garden of Eden or paradise, is to go back to myself, to revert to my original nature. You know, some of you have copper and brass in your house. When I was a young girl, my job in the house every week was to shine up the brass. We used to have those brass ornaments, Buddhas and stuff in our house. And we had what we call brass. So my job was to shine, and you even can shine up your jewelry. But it's a tremendous pleasure you see from how that thing that is looking so like otherwise, if you shine it up, how it shines. It's incredible, the beauty. Anyway, just imagine that's only a piece of metal, old brass, and we are diamond-like beings. And when we change our thoughts and we're polishing this living seed up here, it looks like a diamond. When we change our way of thinking into a kind way, into a compassionate way, into let someone else have the benefit of the doubt, you know. Just remember, I'm a child of God. You're a child of God. We all actually family. We are a big world family. So let's treat each other like that. Everybody's playing their part on earth. Like I got my issues, they got their issues. So when I have those thoughts, I change my thoughts. I'm actually polishing myself. Like I used to polish my mother's little bronze Buddha. I'm polishing this little diamond up here. And when that diamond becomes clean, it reflects who I am. It reflects my inner beauty. It reflects my light. It reflects my stability. It reflects my royalty. It reflects my godlike nature, not just mine, but yours. So let me read. Everybody, even the person you dislike the most on the planet, is God's diamond. So changing thoughts are like seeds. you know, as are my thoughts, so will be my attitude and behavior. Therefore, my focus, shouldn't be as much on wrong behavior as on the thinking which causes it. So that is saying there, it's when a person does something wrong, maybe they had an accident, whatever, because they weren't in a fit state to drive, maybe, or maybe they get very sick. What is happening out there is a result of how they came from this space, whether they were in the right place up here, where they were stable, where they were thinking clearly. So sometimes people have severe health issues. It could be that is just life, but it also could be that they neglected themselves. They didn't think when they were eating incorrectly or didn't exercise. They didn't think of the repercussion. I need to be aware of how much damage is caused by negative thoughts. Negative, wasteful thinking over a long period of time will put me right back into the gutter. And Daddy calls it the gutter. You know, the gutter is the dirtiest place in the street, isn't it? The task of a student of spirituality is to change situations through thoughts. I must change myself first, then I can change the world. So Daddy is saying the very fact that I'm sitting here talking to you is because of the way that I've been thinking. And whatever situation I find myself in is because I thought myself into that situation. Whoever I am with, they are there because that's their role in life, to be in your life. But how I interact with them, what I think about them makes me feel the way I do feel. If I feel this is my sister or my brother, they are just trying their best, then I will have an attitude of accommodation. I will have an attitude of I'm not tolerating everything like a mother and a child, and I do what I'm doing for them because I love them, and or I can think differently, and I think this person is just a nuisance. I wish they'd go away, and then I feel all horrible inside. So what is better? To feel in a way that's going to make you feel good and clean and you like yourself? Or what is better? To be bitter and angry and feel negative and hopeless, and then you get acid in your stomach and you become critical and you become vicious and angry. What is better? To think good thoughts and feel better, or to think negative, angry, accusatory thoughts and feel all bitter and lonely inside? So when we have negative thoughts, we feel very lonely, actually. We feel very isolated. We become the victim. We become the victim. And we want to go back to changing life on earth. We want to get, we're tired of the chaos and the sickness and the deprivation and the poverty. We're tired of that. We don't want it anymore. And the only way we can change it is it starts with me. When I change the way I think, then it has a domino effect. It affects everything else. It affects the person in my company because the way I think impacts on the atmosphere. So if I want to be loving and kind, then people are going to be relaxed in my company and they're going to cooperate because they will open up. Like the flower opens up, the bud opens up in the sunlight. The sunlight gives warmth and the right temperature, so the flower opens up. But when I'm cold and distant, then I make someone else they feel afraid, so they withdraw, and they will not give of their best. They won't become. Okay, I think that's it. Anybody like to add anything, say anything? The floor is open, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so you deadly silence on the planet. Yeah. Anyway, I have I've been trying to I'm realizing the value of positive thoughts, because I have a very ill relative who's terminal, and she knows she's terminal also. So I'm thinking, this is the soul's journey. This is the child of God. I'm a child of God. It's just the body that's giving in, but she's still the same. I'm still the same. And the soul is eternal. So that creates a nice atmosphere in her room. And then she dozes off, she sleeps. And I feel nice. I feel peaceful. Anyway, so thank you very much for listening. To say something very old-fashioned, God bless you. And keep well, and everything of the best to you. So now we're going to do a meditation. Thank you. Om Shanti. Goodbye.
Thank you, Carol.
True inspiration comes when I live in the real spirit, when I am filled with the spirit of peace, of love, of the divine. It's similar to enthusiasm, which is derived from the ancient word meaning filled with the Spirit of God. It is the natural state of the soul to be in that state of aliveness. The opposite of inspiration is inertia. I may be busy with activities and projects, but if my soul is filled with the spirit of only physical things, of situations, of things that people have said, of thoughts about the future, the body, the past, if my mind is only filled with those things, then no matter how busy I am, the soul will still feel stuck, caged by the world of form around me. To move from a state of inertia to inspiration, I only have to learn the very simple practice of taking my mind to the edge of the world, of letting go of stories and dramas, even if only for a few moments. Just to be in the spirit. The true spirit has no story, no drama. It is simply pure vibration. So for the next few moments, just think of the quality of peace and allow that quality to completely fill your being. Feel yourself far from the world, going deeper and deeper into a state of sacred stillness. And just allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to be simply peace. No need for any other identity or story. It is simply enough just to exist in that pure vibration of sacred stillness. Taking just this moment to empty the contents of the world out of your mind so that you can come home to the eternal you. If I want to live in inspiration, I have to know the art of letting go of the world in moments and in minutes as much as possible. Even if I'm in the world, I can learn to take my mind to the edge of the world, where there is only stillness, where there is only peace. When I learn to do this, inspiration returns because two very special gifts come from this practice. One is that I begin to feel a sense of connection with others, with the divine, with the natural world, and that alone fills me with inspiration to live, to thrive. And the other great gift that comes is as I quiet my mind of all the things of the world, I open myself to receiving the ocean of pure energy that is always flowing towards me. I open myself to receiving the ocean of pure energy that is continually flowing through the universe. With this simple practice of learning to go beyond situations and scenes and drama and just be in the pure vibration of the quality of peace or love or joy, I can renew my life and move from a place of inertia to a place of inspiration.